The screen flickered to life across every device on Earth. Televisions, phones, computers, even the giant displays in city squares all showed the same image. A creature stood before the camera, tall and covered in dark scales. Its eyes glowed red like burning coals. When it spoke, its voice was cold and sharp. People of Earth, I am High Commander Al of the Empire. We have watched your world for many years. You are weak. Your technology is primitive. Your weapons are toys. We have conquered 47 star systems. We have defeated races far stronger than you. The creature's mouth twisted into something like a smile. We offer you a choice. Surrender all your technology to us. Your people will serve us as workers, or refuse and we will destroy every city, every town, every human on this planet. You have 30 days to decide. The screen went dark. Then it showed something that made every human watching feel their hearts sink. Ships, thousands and thousands of alien ships. They stretched across space like a dark cloud, each one bigger than Earth's largest buildings. The message was clear. Humanity had no chance. Commander stood in the war room deep beneath Seoul. She watched the broadcast with her arms crossed. Her face showed no emotion, but her jaw was tight. Around the table sat the leaders of Earth's military forces. Some looked scared. Others looked angry. All of them looked to her. "How many ships?" she asked. A young officer checked his screen. "Our satellites count 10,000, Commander, maybe more." "And our fleet?" The officer's face fell. "We have 300 ships. Most are transport vessels. We have 50 real warships." Someone at the table laughed, but it was not a happy sound. 50 against 10,000. We should just surrender now. "No," the voice came from the doorway. Doctor walked into the room. She was small and thin, with tired eyes and gray hair. But when she spoke, everyone listened. "We don't surrender, not yet." Nodded to her, "Tell them." Moved to the front of the room. She pressed a button and a hologram appeared above the table. It showed Earth, but something was different. The planet had lines of light running across it, connecting thousands of points. "For the past 10 years, we have been building something in secret. We called it the Prometheus Project. Every major city has underground bunkers. Every military base has hidden weapons. Every satellite in orbit has a purpose you don't know about." She changed the image. Now it showed the moon. "And we have been working on the moon, hollowing it out, building inside it." A general stood up. "That's impossible. Someone would have noticed." "We made sure no one noticed," said quietly. "We told everyone we were mining for minerals. We sent robots, not people. We worked slowly and carefully. They have been watching us for years, just like they said, but they only saw what we wanted them to see." Captain Minu stepped forward from where he had been standing against the wall. He was young for a captain, only 28, but his eyes were hard. "I've been training with the new fighters, the ones from the Prometheus Project. They work. I've tested them myself." Looked around the table. "They think we are primitive. They think we are weak. They have given us 30 days. We will use every single one." "But what do we tell them?" asked Ambassador. She had just returned from a diplomatic mission to the outer colonies. She had seen what they did to planets that refused to surrender. "What message do we send?" Was quiet for a long moment. Then she smiled. It was not a kind smile. "We tell them the truth. We tell them their fate is sealed." "That sounds like we're threatening them," someone said. "Good," replied. The next day, people all over Earth watched as Commander stood before the cameras. She wore her military uniform, clean and pressed. Behind her stood the flags of every nation on Earth. "High Commander Al," she began, her voice calm and clear. "We have received your ultimatum. We have discussed it carefully. Earth sends this response." She paused. The whole world held its breath. "Your fate is sealed." Then the screen went black. Not just the broadcast screen. Every light, every electronic device on Earth shut down at the same moment. Cities went dark. Communications stopped. From space, Earth looked like someone had flipped a switch. The blue and green planet that had glowed with lights and radio signals suddenly went silent and dark. On the flagship, High Commander Al watched Earth go dark. He laughed, a sound like breaking glass. They have surrendered. The humans know they cannot win. They have shut down to accept their fate. His second officer was not so sure. Commander, what if it is a trick? Al waved a clawed hand. A trick? They are humans. They are barely past their own moon. What trick could they possibly have? He turned to his crew. Prepare the fleet. We move to Earth in 2 days. We will take what we want from their dead planet. But on Earth, in the deep bunkers beneath the surface, the lights were on. The computers were running. Millions of people sat in underground cities that had been built in secret over 10 years. They were scared, yes, but they were not surrendering. In the command center, watched the screens showing the fleet. They bought it, she said. They think we gave up. Stood beside her, checking the readiness of the weapon systems. The Prometheus project is at 90%. We need more time. We have 28 days, said. Make it work. Captain Minu walked into the room, his flight suit already on. My squadron is ready. Just give the word. Nodded. Not yet, Captain. Let them come closer. Let them think they have already won. She looked at the image of Earth on the screen, dark and quiet. They think our fate is sealed. They will learn what those words really mean. Young, a resistance fighter who had been part of the evacuation of Seoul, stood in the underground city with her family. She looked at the stone ceiling above her head and thought about the sky she could not see. Her little brother pulled on her sleeve. Are the bad aliens coming? He asked. Knelt down and hugged him. Yes, but we are ready for them. Commander has a plan. Will we win? Thought about the words Commander had spoken. Your fate is sealed. She did not know if they would win, but she knew they would fight. Yes, she told her brother, we will win. Above them, Earth stayed dark and silent. The fleet began to move, ready to claim an easy victory. They had no idea that in the darkness, Earth was preparing. In the silence, Earth was waiting. The trap was set. Now they just needed to walk into it. 5 days had passed since Earth went dark. The scout ships moved carefully through Earth's atmosphere, scanning the empty cities below. They flew over New York, Tokyo, London, Mumbai. Every city was the same. Empty streets, silent buildings, no lights, no movement, nothing. On the lead scout ship, officer reported to the flagship. Commander Al, the planet appears abandoned. We detect no life signs in any major population center. Abandoned, Al sounded annoyed. Where did they go? Did they evacuate to other planets? Impossible, Commander. Their ships are still in orbit, powered down. We have checked their colonies on Mars and the asteroid belt, also empty. Al thought for a moment. They must be hiding underground. It does not matter. When we harvest the planet, we will dig them out. He smiled. Begin landing operations. Take their cities. We own Earth now. But deep beneath the surface, in the vast underground bunkers, Earth was very much alive. The city beneath Beijing held 2 million people. They lived in levels that went down 3 miles into the earth. Artificial lights mimicked the sun. Hydroponic gardens grew food. Water recycling systems provided everything they needed. It was crowded, but it worked. Colonel walked through the military section of the bunker. He checked on the soldiers who were preparing for battle. They cleaned weapons, ran drills, and waited. Everyone was waiting. He found engineer working on a panel of controls. How are the surface systems? Asked. Did not look up from his work. Ready, every is loaded and aimed. The camouflage systems are working perfectly. The scanners cannot see them. He finally looked at. When they land, we will surprise them. Good. Moved on to the next section. He had to check 100 more systems before the day ended. In a laboratory 5 miles beneath the surface of Antarctica, Doctor worked with her team. They stood around a device that hummed with energy. It was the heart of the Prometheus project. a quantum processor that could link every weapon system on Earth and in orbit. Every gun, every missile, every ship would fire as one, coordinated perfectly. Her assistant, a young scientist named, adjusted the power levels. "Doctor, the quantum entanglement is stable. We can link up to 10,000 separate systems without any lag." "We will need more than 10,000, said. She was tired. She had not slept more than 3 hours in any night for the past week. To have 10,000 ships, we need every advantage. "Then we will give you more," smiled, trying to encourage her mentor. "We have already connected 5,000 systems. We will reach 15,000 by tomorrow." In another bunker, beneath what used to be Seoul, Captain Minyu trained with his squadron. They sat in simulators, flying their new fighters through virtual battles. The Wraith fighters were unlike anything Earth had built before. They were fast, heavily armed, and equipped with the quantum weapons that Doctor's team had developed. Minyu's wingman, a pilot named, cursed as he got hit in the simulation. "These things are too fast. How are we supposed to control them?" "Practice," Minyu said simply. He was the best pilot in the squadron, maybe the best on Earth. He had to be. When the real battle came, he would lead the attack on the flagship. Again, from the beginning. They ran the simulation 15 more times. By the end, was hitting his targets. It was not perfect, but it was better. On the surface, they landed their first troops. 50 ships set down in the ruins of Paris. Soldiers marched out, expecting to find survivors cowering in basements. Instead, they found empty buildings and silence. Watched them on a monitor from her position beneath the city. She was part of a small team of resistance fighters who stayed near the surface. Their job was to sabotage any equipment and feed false information. "They are setting up a command post in the old city center," her team leader whispered. "Should we hit them now?" "No," said. "We wait. Commander's orders are clear. We let them think they have won. We let them relax. Then we strike." But that night's team did sneak up to the surface. They planted small devices on 3 scout ships. The devices were not bombs. They were data transmitters designed by Hacker, Earth's best cyber warfare specialist. The devices secretly connected to the network and started sending false information back to their flagship. The information said that Earth's underground bunkers were small and poorly supplied, that humanity was starving and scared, that they would surrender easily if pressed. All lies, but they believed them. Ambassador had a different job. While they celebrated their easy victory, she was sending secret messages. Before Earth went dark, they had captured a communication device, used it to contact other alien species that they had enslaved. The messages were simple. "Earth resists, they can be beaten. Rise up when the time comes." Most species did not reply. They were too scared, but some did. A mining colony on the edge of space. A planet of farmers forced to grow food for their masters. A moon where children were taken to be soldiers. They all received Earth's message. They all started to hope. On day 10, High Commander Al was satisfied. His troops controlled the surface of Earth. His ships were in orbit. The humans were hiding underground like insects. "Prepare the mining equipment," he ordered. "We will strip this planet of everything valuable. Iron, gold, rare minerals, take it all." His second officer asked, "What about the humans underground?" "Let them stay there. We will seal the entrances. In a few months they will run out of air and die. It saves us the trouble of fighting them." Al did not know that every word he spoke was being recorded. Hacker had broken into the communication network days ago. Every order, every plan, every weakness was now known to Earth's commanders. In the command center, Commander listened to Al's words. She looked at the countdown on the wall. 20 days left. The Prometheus project was at 95% ready. The Wraith squadron was trained. The orbital defense platforms were armed. Everything was almost ready. "Doctor," she said into her communicator, "how long until we can activate?" His voice came back, fuzzy from the deep underground. "4 more days. We need to run final tests. If we activate too early and the system fails, we only get one chance." 4 days, repeated. She looked at the display showing ship positions. They were spreading out across Earth's orbit, feeling safe and confident. Perfect. We want them spread out. Easier to destroy them piece by piece. General Sara, who commanded the ground forces, joined at the display. "Commander, they are landing more troops. They now have soldiers in 30 cities." "Let them land," said. "Every soldier they put on Earth is one less on their ships. When we strike, their ships will be undermanned and their ground troops will be trapped." "You are sure this will work?" Turned to look at Sara. "No, I am not sure, but I am sure of one thing. Humanity does not surrender, we fight. And if we die fighting." Sara nodded. She did not need more than that. On day 14, Captain Minu received his orders. "Be ready to launch in 72 hours. Your target is the flagship. You will disable their command and control. The rest of the fleet will be easier to defeat without leadership." Minu gathered his squadron. 20 pilots, all of them young, all of them the best Earth had. "In 3 days we launch. We have trained for this. We know what to do. They think humans are weak. We will show them what humans can do." Pilot raised his hand. "Captain, what if we fail?" "Then Earth falls," Minu said honestly. "But we will not fail. I do not accept failure." Above them, on the dark surface, they continued to celebrate. They sent messages back to their empire, bragging about their easy conquest. They reported that Earth was theirs and the humans were defeated. They had no idea that in the darkness beneath their feet, millions of humans were preparing. Weapons were loaded. Systems were tested. Pilots were ready. Soldiers stood at their posts. Scientists made final adjustments to machines that would change everything. High Commander Al stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked at the dark planet below. "Earth," he said with satisfaction. "I told them their fate was sealed, and so it is. They are sealed underground, waiting to die." But in the command center deep beneath Sol, Commander looked at the same planet on her screens. She saw the ships in orbit, sitting like fat targets. She saw their troops on the surface, spread thin and overconfident. "Their fate is sealed," she whispered. "They just do not know it yet." The countdown continued. 3 days until the attack. Day 16. The fleet hung in orbit around Earth, their ships spread across the space above the planet like a net. High Commander Al watched the mining operations begin. Giant drills descended toward the surface, ready to tear into Earth's crust and take its resources. "Begin bombardment of Grid Section 7, he ordered. "Clear the area for mining." 10 warships moved into position above what used to be the Amazon rainforest. Their weapons charged, energy building to blast the surface. The commander of the lead ship opened fire. The beam of energy shot down toward Earth. It would have destroyed everything in a 50-mile radius, but it never reached the ground. Something rose from the surface. A shield generator hidden beneath the trees powered on, creating a dome of energy. The beam hit it and scattered harmlessly. Before the ships could react, the ground itself seemed to explode. Massive platforms emerged from underground, camouflage falling away. They had been built into mountains, hidden under lakes, buried in forests. Now they revealed themselves, and they fired. Solid metal slugs, accelerated to incredible speeds, punched through the shields like paper. The shields were designed to stop energy weapons, not solid projectiles moving at a significant fraction of light speed. 3 ships were destroyed in the first 30 seconds. Debris rained down into the atmosphere, burning up in bright streaks. On the flagship, alarms screamed. "Commander, we are under attack. The surface has weapons, multiple targets emerging." Al stared at the displays in shock. "Impossible, they had no weapons. We scanned," he stopped. "They had been tricked. All ships, evasive action, return fire." But it was too late. Earth's plan was already in motion. In orbit, asteroid mining stations that had seemed abandoned suddenly came to life. Admiral commanded them from his hidden station on the dark side of the moon. Orbital platforms activate. Target the ships marked in red. Weapons that had been disguised as mining equipment swiveled and locked onto ships. Missile batteries hidden inside hollowed-out asteroids opened fire. Laser arrays that were supposed to be communication dishes began cutting through enemy hulls. The fleet scrambled to respond, but they were disorganized and surprised. They had spread out too much, feeling safe. Now they were vulnerable. "Launch the Wraiths," Commander's order echoed through every bunker on Earth. Hidden hangar doors opened on the surface. From underground bases came Earth's new fighters. They were sleek and black, designed for speed and precision. Captain Minu led the first squadron, launching from beneath the ruins of Sol. "Squadron, form up on me," he said calmly, though his heart was racing. "Target is the flagship, quantum weapons armed. Remember your training." 20 Wraith fighters streaked through space toward the massive flagship. Enemy fighters launched to intercept them, but the Wraiths were faster. Minu's wingman destroyed 2 enemy fighters in the first pass, his quantum weapons phasing through their shields before exploding inside the ships. "These weapons are incredible," shouted over the radio. "Stay focused," Minu replied. He dodged fire from the flagship's defense guns and led his squadron toward the main target. They had to disable the command ship. Without leadership, the fleet would fall apart. On the ground, the troops who had landed in Earth cities suddenly found themselves under attack. From hidden tunnels came General Sora's soldiers. They had been waiting, watching, planning. Now they struck. In Paris, and her resistance team hit a supply depot. They used guerrilla tactics, hitting fast and disappearing before the enemy could respond. Planted explosives on their fuel storage, then ran. The explosion lit up the night sky. 3 were destroyed. The enemy troops panicked, firing at shadows. Back in space, the real battle was unfolding. Doctor sat in her laboratory, watching the quantum network display. Every weapon system on Earth and in orbit appeared as a point of light on her screen. Thousands of points, all connected through quantum entanglement. "Activate Prometheus Protocol," Commander ordered. "Press the button, activating now." The quantum network came alive. Every weapon system synchronized instantly, no lag, no delay. They all became part of one massive weapon, coordinated perfectly. Fired in sequence, each shot timed to hit when the enemy shields were weakest from previous hits. Missiles launched in patterns that overwhelmed point defense systems. Lasers focused on the same spot from multiple angles, burning through armor in seconds. The fleet began to die. One ship after another exploded or went dead in space. Their shields could not stop the quantum-coordinated attacks. Their weapons could not track targets that moved with inhuman precision, guided by AI connected through quantum links. "We have lost 200 ships," an officer screamed at Al. "Their weapons ignore our shields. We must retreat." "No," Al roared. "We have 10,000 ships. They cannot defeat us all. Bring the fleet together, concentrate our fire." But bringing the fleet together made it worse. Earth's quantum weapons worked best against clustered targets. One massive shot would go through 3 ships lined up. Missile spreads would hit multiple vessels. They were destroying themselves by grouping up. Captain Minu reached the flagship. His squadron dodged through a storm of defensive fire. They were too small and too fast for the big ship's guns to track. He targeted the command bridge with his quantum missiles. "Firing," he said calmly. The missiles phased through the flagship's shields and armor, exploding inside the bridge. The entire front section of the massive ship blew apart. Debris scattered into space. "Flagship hit," confirmed. "The command bridge is destroyed." But Minu frowned. "Pull back, something is wrong." He was right. High Commander Al had not been on the bridge. He had moved to a secondary command center when the attack started. Now he saw his fleet being torn apart by an enemy he had thought was primitive. "Activate the planet killer," he ordered. His officers stared at him. "Commander, that weapon is forbidden by law. It destroys everything, including resources we came to harvest." "I do not care," Al screamed. "If we cannot have this planet, no one will. Activate it now." The Planet Killer was a massive weapon mounted on a special ship. It could crack a planet's crust and destroy all life. The weapon ship moved toward Earth, charging its systems. On the moon, Admiral saw it on his scanners. "Commander, they have activated a planet-destroying weapon. 3 minutes until it fires." Felt ice in her stomach, but her voice was steady. "Activate the moon weapon." "Commander, it is not fully tested." "Activate it." On Earth's moon, in the hidden facilities that humanity had built over decades, something massive powered on. The moon was hollow now, turned into a giant weapons platform, and its main weapon was ready. The moon's surface split open like a flower blooming. From inside came a beam of pure energy, focused through quantum lenses. It was not just powerful, it was precise. The beam crossed space in an instant and hit the Planet Killer weapon ship. The ship tried to activate its shields, but the quantum beam went through them. It hit the Planet Killer weapon just as it was charging. The energy overload caused a chain reaction. The Planet Killer ship exploded, but it was so powerful that its explosion destroyed 20 ships nearby. The blast wave shook other ships, damaging systems and killing crews. Al watched his weapon die. He watched his fleet die. In 3 hours he had lost half his ships. 3 hours. An enemy he thought was primitive had cut his mighty fleet in half. "Retreat," he said quietly. "All ships retreat to the edge of the system. We regroup and—" "Negative," Commander's voice came over every communication channel. She had hacked into their network with help. "Hi, Commander Al, I told you before, your fate is sealed. You will not leave this system." Al's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" The answer came not in words but in action. At the edge of the solar system where the fleet had first gathered, Earth had placed weapons months ago. Mines, missile platforms, satellites, all hidden, all waiting. They activated now, blocking the retreat. "You came to our home," continued, her voice hard as steel. "You threatened to enslave or kill every human. Did you think we would not fight back? Did you think we were so weak?" More ships died as they tried to flee. The quantum network predicted their movements and fired before they could dodge. Captain Minu's squadron hunted down their command ships. General Sora's forces captured ground troops by the hundreds. Admiral's orbital platforms destroyed their supply ships. In 4 hours of fighting, the fleet was shattered. 5,000 ships destroyed or disabled. 3,000 more damaged and retreating. 2,000 trying to flee but trapped. Scientists watched the battle displays and could not believe what she was seeing. "We are winning," she whispered. Doctor nodded, exhausted but satisfied. "We planned for 10 years. We built in secret. We made them think we were weak. And when they walked into our trap, we showed them the truth." "What truth?" asked. "That humans do not give up, ever." On the flagship, what was left of it, Al slumped in his command chair. His mighty fleet was destroyed. His easy conquest had become a nightmare. And the worst part was the message that kept playing on every screen. "Your fate is sealed." He finally understood what it meant. It was not a threat. It was a promise. Earth had sealed this fate the moment they approached the planet. They had been doomed from the start. They just had not known it. The battle was over, but the war was not. What remained of the fleet huddled together in a defensive formation, too damaged to attack but refusing to surrender. High Commander Al was gone. His flagship had been destroyed in a final desperate charge against Earth's moon. He died thinking he could still win. He was wrong. Captain Minu floated in space near one of the command ships. His squadron had disabled it without destroying it. Commander wanted prisoners. More importantly, she wanted information. "Boarding team go," Minu ordered. Soldiers in spacesuits attached to the ship's hull and cut their way inside. Minyu followed them. The interior of the ship was dark. Emergency lights flickered. Bodies floated in the zero gravity, both and some aliens Minyu did not recognize. "Captain, over here," a soldier called out. They had found the holding cells. Inside were dozens of aliens from species Minyu had never seen. They were prisoners, slaves taken from conquered worlds. One of them, a tall being with blue skin and 6 arms, spoke in broken English. "You are human?" it asked. "Yes," Minyu said. "You are free now." The alien laughed, but it was a bitter sound. "Free? The Empire spans 47 systems. They will send more ships, more fleets. You have won one battle, but the war will never end." Minyu looked at the alien carefully. "Tell me about the Empire. Tell me everything." Over the next 3 days, the freed prisoners told Earth's commanders the truth about the Empire. It was vast, yes. Powerful, yes. But it was also fragile. They had conquered many species, but they ruled through fear. If one world rebelled and won, others would follow. Ambassador worked with the freed aliens to send messages across the galaxy. They used the captured communication systems to broadcast the truth. Earth had defeated the mighty fleet. Earth had shown that the Empire could be beaten. On a farming planet called Aura, the message was received. The farmers there had been slaves for 30 years. They looked at each other, then at their overseers. That night, the rebellion began. The garrison was overwhelmed by millions of angry farmers. On a mining world called, the same thing happened, and on Or and Nexus Prime. Like a wave spreading across the galaxy, the enslaved species rose up against their masters. Hacker sat in his bunker beneath Tokyo, coordinating the cyber attacks. He had broken into the military network during the battle. Now he sent their own tactical information to the rebels. Fleet positions, weapon stores, weak points in their defenses, everything that could help. "The Empire is fracturing," he reported to Commander. 23 systems are in open rebellion. They are pulling ships back to protect their core worlds. They cannot threaten Earth anymore. Allowed herself a small smile. It was the first time she had smiled in weeks. "Good, but we are not done. We need to make sure they never come back." Doctor agreed. She had been studying the captured technology. "Their quantum shields have a fundamental flaw. Our weapons exploited it. But more than that, their entire military doctrine is flawed. They rely on overwhelming force and fear. They have never faced an enemy that fights smart." "We need to share this information with the rebel worlds," decided. "Give them the weapons and knowledge to fight back." But General Sora had concerns. "Commander, if we arm all these species, what happens after the fall? Some of them might turn on us or each other." Nodded. "That is a risk, but right now they need our help. We will deal with the future when it comes." On day 20, Captain Minyu led another mission. Earth wanted to capture an admiral alive. Intelligence suggested that Admiral Axe knew something important, something the Empire was hiding. The admiral's ship was damaged and isolated. Minyu's squadron surrounded it. "Admiral Axe, this is Captain Minyu of Earth. Surrender now and you will be treated fairly." There was a long pause. Then the Admiral's voice came over the radio, tired and defeated. "You do not understand. You have made a terrible mistake." "What mistake?" "Defeating us. The Empire was running from something. We were fleeing. We needed resources, ships, soldiers. We needed them to survive." Minyu felt a chill. "Running from what?" "They have many names. We call them the Harvesters. They are old, ancient. They destroy civilizations and harvest their technology. We woke them up when we explored the wrong system. Now they are coming. And your victory over us means nothing. The Harvesters will consume you all." The Admiral's words reached Earth within the hour. Commander called an emergency meeting of all her top people. Doctor, Captain Minyu, General Sora, Admiral, Ambassador, Hacker, and others gathered in the command center. "Is he telling the truth?" asked. Doctor pulled up data on the screens. I have been analyzing the database we captured. There are references to something called Project Exodus. They were preparing to flee the galaxy. They needed resources for generation ships. Show me everything about these harvesters, ordered. What they saw made everyone in the room go quiet. The harvesters were not biological. They were artificial intelligence, ancient machines left by a civilization that had died millions of years ago. The machines had one purpose: find technology and absorb it. They moved from system to system, consuming advanced civilizations and adding their knowledge to their own. They had accidentally activated them 5 years ago. Since then, the harvesters had destroyed 12 worlds and were moving toward the core of their empire. How long until they reach Earth? Asked. Did the calculations. If they continue at their current speed, 3 months, maybe 4. The room was silent. They had just defeated one enemy, only to learn a worse one was coming. Young, who had been asked to attend the meeting because of her work with the Resistance, spoke up. Commander, we beat them because we were ready. We had 10 years to prepare. Can we prepare for this in 3 months? We will have to, said. She looked at Doctor. Can we modify the Prometheus weapon to work against artificial intelligence? Thought about it? Maybe. If these harvesters use quantum networks like we do, we might be able to hack them, turn their own systems against them. Hacker leaned forward. I can help with that. If they are AI, they have code. All code has vulnerabilities. But we need more time, General Sora said. 3 months is not enough. Ambassador had an idea. What if we are not alone? The controlled 47 systems. The rebels are winning in 23 of them. If we unite all of them against the harvesters, we have a chance. Stood up. Then that is what we do. Ambassador, contact every species that is fighting tell them about the harvesters. Tell them Earth offers an alliance. We share our technology, our tactics, our weapons. In exchange, they fight with us. Some species will not trust us, warned. We are unknown, and some of them hate each other almost as much as they hate the. Then we convince them, said firmly. We show them that we all have a common enemy. We show them that together we can win. Alone, we all die. Over the next week, Earth sent out delegations. Ambassador visited 7 different worlds. Captain Minu flew missions to deliver supplies to rebel forces. Doctor shared the quantum weapon schematics with allied scientists. General Sora trained the alien resistance fighters in Earth's tactics. Slowly, an alliance formed. It was messy and complicated. Some species distrusted others. Some had been enemies for centuries, but they all understood one thing: the harvesters would kill them all unless they worked together. The alliance called itself the Free Worlds Coalition. Earth was not the leader officially, but everyone looked to Commander for guidance. She had beaten maybe she could beat the harvesters too. In her private office, looked at the star charts. The harvesters were coming. She could see their path of destruction. System after system, going dark as the machines consumed everything. We told their fate was sealed, she said quietly to herself. Now we have to seal the fate of something far worse. Doctor entered the office. Commander, I have been thinking about your message to your fate is sealed. It worked because they did not understand what it meant. They thought it was about them. What do you mean? Smiled. It was never about them. It was about us. We sealed our own fate the moment we decided to fight. We chose to stand and defend our world no matter the cost. That is what makes us different. The Ran. We fight. Nodded slowly. Then we will send the same message to the harvesters. We will tell them the same thing. Will they understand it? They will, said. When we destroy them, they will understand. Outside the office, the preparations continued. The Free Worlds Coalition built weapons and trained soldiers. Earth's quantum network expanded to include 50 star systems. The moon's weapon was replicated on 3 other moons. Fleets gathered. Defenses were built. The harvesters were coming, but this time they would face something they had never faced before. They would face species that refused to run. They would face the unity of 100 worlds. They would face humanity's determination. And they would learn what "your fate is sealed" really meant. 3 months had passed since the defeat of the Free Worlds Coalition had grown to include 62 different species from 50 star systems. They all gathered now, their fleets forming a massive defensive line at the edge of human space. Behind them was Earth. Ahead of them was the unknown. And coming through that unknown were the harvesters. Captain Minu, now promoted to Admiral, commanded the Coalition's strike force. His flagship was twice the size of the old Wraith fighters, equipped with the latest quantum weapons. Around him flew ships from a dozen different worlds. Some looked like crystals, others looked like living things. All of them were ready to fight. "Admiral, sensors detect the Harvester fleet," his sensor officer reported. "They number in the thousands. All ships are machine constructs, no biological life signs." Minu looked at the display. The Harvester ships were unlike anything he had seen before. They were geometric and perfect, moving in patterns that looked almost like a dance, beautiful and terrible at the same time. "All ships hold position," he ordered. "Wait for them to enter range." On Earth, in the command center, Commander watched the same displays. Doctor stood beside her, along with Hacker and the other leaders of the Coalition. Representatives from every allied species filled the room, all of them watching and waiting. "The quantum network is ready," Doctor reported. "All 50 systems are linked. Every weapon, every ship, every defense platform is connected." Nodded. She had not slept well in 3 months. None of them had. They had worked every day to prepare for this moment. Now it was here. "Open a channel," she said, "to the Harvesters." Worked his console. "Channel open, Commander." Spoke, her voice carried across space on every frequency. "This is Commander of Earth, speaking for the Free Worlds Coalition. You are the Harvesters. You consume civilizations. You harvest technology. You have destroyed countless worlds." There was no response for a moment. Then a voice came back, cold and mechanical. "Correct. We are the Harvesters. You will be processed. Your technology will be absorbed. Resistance is inefficient." "We are human," continued. "We do not care about efficiency. We care about survival. We care about freedom. And we sent you a message. Your fate is sealed." The Harvester voice sounded almost curious. "Explain. Fate cannot be sealed. Fate is probability and outcome." Smiled, though no one could see it. "Then let me explain. We are humans. We survived ice ages when we should have frozen. We survived plagues when we should have died. We survived wars that almost destroyed us. We have turned deserts into gardens and touched distant stars. We were forged in the fires of a hostile world, and we are still here." She paused, then continued. "You are machines. You follow programming, you calculate and process, but you do not understand one thing. When we say your fate is sealed, we mean that we have already decided the outcome. You will not harvest us. You will not consume our technology. You will not destroy our worlds. We have sealed your fate. You will be defeated. That is not a threat. That is a promise." The Harvester voice was silent for 3 seconds. Then, "Processing complete. Threat assessment updated. Beginning attack protocols." The Harvester fleet surged forward. "All ships engage," Minu ordered. The battle began. The Harvesters moved with perfect coordination, their ships working together like cells in a body. But the Free Worlds Coalition had something the Harvesters did not expect. They had the quantum network. Doctor activated the Prometheus protocol. Instantly, every weapon in the Coalition fired as one. The timing was perfect. Shots that were fired from ships light minutes apart arrived at their targets at the exact same moment. The Harvesters' predictive algorithms could not handle it. Their shields were overwhelmed. But the Harvesters adapted quickly. They changed their formations, redistributed their shields. They were learning. "They are adapting to our tactics," reported. "We need to change our approach." "Then we change," said. She opened a channel to Hacker. Can you access their network? Had been trying for the past hour. They use quantum encryption, Commander. It is similar to ours but more advanced. I need more time. You have 10 minutes. After that, they will break through our first line. His fingers flew across his keyboard. He had help now. Hackers from 5 different species worked beside him, all of them trying to break into the Harvester network. They tried every trick, every exploit, every vulnerability they knew. And then 9 minutes and 30 seconds later, they found it. In the Harvester code. It was tiny, probably left by the original creators millions of years ago, but it was enough. I am in, shouted. I have access to their network. Can you shut them down? Asked. No, their systems are too distributed, but I can confuse them, make them think we have more ships than we do, make them attack the wrong targets. Do it. Unleashed a virus into the Harvester network. It was not a destructive virus. It was a deception virus created by humanity's best minds working with alien intelligence. It made the Harvesters see things that were not there. Ghost ships, fake weapons, false threats. The Harvesters began to make mistakes. They fired at targets that did not exist. They moved ships to defend positions that were not under attack, and while they were confused, the coalition struck. Admiral Minu led his strike force deep into the Harvester formation. They targeted the command nodes, the central ships that coordinated the fleet. The Wraith fighters, now upgraded with alien technology, danced through enemy fire. They moved with a grace that no machine could match because they were piloted by living beings who could improvise and adapt. Pilot, flying beside Minu, destroyed 3 Harvester ships in one pass. These machines might be ancient, he said over the radio, but they have never fought humans before. General Sara commanded the ground forces, ready to defend the planets if the Harvesters broke through. But she also had another role. She worked with the coalition scientists to analyze every piece of Harvester technology they could capture. Commander, we have found something, she reported. The Harvesters have a central processing core. It is located in a massive ship at the center of their fleet. If we destroy it, the entire network will collapse. Where is it? Asked. Sara sent the coordinates. The core ship was enormous, 10 times larger than any other Harvester vessel. It was protected by thousands of smaller ships and multiple shield layers. We cannot reach it with conventional weapons, Admiral said from his position on the moon. We would need to concentrate all our firepower on one point. Doctor had an idea. What if we use the moon weapon? The quantum beam could penetrate their shields. That weapon takes 5 minutes to charge, said. The Harvesters will see it charging and move the core ship. Then we distract them, Ambassador suggested. She had been coordinating with the alien species, learning their tactics. We make them think we are attacking from another direction. When they respond, we fire the moon weapon. It was risky, but it was their best chance. Made the decision. Do it. Admiral Minu, take your fleet and attack the Harvester left flank. Make it look like a full assault. Draw their attention. Understood, Minu replied. All ships follow me. The coalition fleet charged at the Harvester left flank. Thousands of ships firing everything they had. It looked like a desperate all-out attack. The Harvesters responded, moving their forces to meet the threat. The core ship, thinking it was safe, stayed where it was. On Earth's moon, Doctor powered up the quantum beam weapon. The moon's surface split open. Energy built inside enough to destroy a planet. 5 minutes. They needed 5 minutes. The Harvesters noticed. Their sensors detected the energy buildup. They began to move the core ship. They are moving, reported. We are going to miss. But Minu had anticipated this. All ships quantum jump now. The coalition fleet used their quantum drives to teleport. In an instant, they appeared on the other side of the Harvester formation, directly in front of the core ship's escape route. The Harvesters had to stop or crash into them. The core ship stopped, and in that moment the moon weapon fired. The quantum beam crossed space in an instant. It hit the core ship's shields and burned through them. It hit the hull and melted through. It reached the central processing core and destroyed it. The effect was immediate. Every harvester ship stopped moving. Their coordination was gone. Their tactics fell apart. They were just individual machines now, not a unified force. All coalition forces pressed the attack, ordered, destroy them. The battle became a rout. Without their central coordination, the harvesters were easy targets. The coalition destroyed ship after ship. Some harvesters tried to retreat, but the quantum network predicted their movements and cut them off. Others tried to self-destruct, but virus prevented them. In 3 hours, the harvester fleet was destroyed. Not a single machine escaped. The coalition cheered. On Earth, people poured out of the underground bunkers and looked up at the sky. They had won. Against impossible odds, they had won. But did not celebrate yet. She looked at Doctor. Are there more of them? More harvester fleets? Checked the data they had captured from the destroyed ships. No, this was the main fleet. The harvesters concentrated all their forces for this attack. They thought they could not lose. They were wrong, said quietly. In the years that followed, Earth became the center of a new galactic civilization. The Free Worlds Coalition transformed into a true union of species working together. They shared technology, culture, and knowledge. They built a society based on cooperation, not domination. The empire fell completely. Most surrendered and were integrated into the coalition. Some, like Admiral Axe, helped rebuild what they had destroyed. They worked with the species they had enslaved, trying to make amends. Captain Minu became one of the coalition's most respected admirals. He trained pilots from 100 different worlds. He told them about Earth's battle against the and the harvesters. He told them about the message. Your fate is sealed. When humans say that, he would explain, we mean that we have decided to fight. We have decided to survive. We have decided that no matter what comes, we will endure. That is what sealing fate means. Not predicting the future, but creating it. Doctor continued her research, but now she worked with scientists from across the galaxy. Together, they made discoveries that would have been impossible alone. The quantum network that had won the war became a communication system that united the coalition. Grew up to become a leader in her own right. She worked to make sure that no species would ever be enslaved again. She traveled to worlds that had been freed from and helped them build new governments based on freedom and justice. And Commander eventually retired. She was old now, her hair white, her face lined with the memories of 1,000 difficult decisions. But she lived to see humanity take its place among the stars. She lived to see Earth's message spread across the galaxy. On her last day, she stood in the same command center where she had watched the battle against the harvesters. Young officers worked at the consoles now, people who had been children during the war. They were peaceful times now. The coalition had been at peace for 20 years. One young officer approached her. Commander, may I ask you something? Of course. When you said, your fate is sealed to thee and the harvesters, were you afraid? Did you really believe we would win? Thought about the question for a long moment. I was terrified, she admitted. Every day I was terrified. I thought we might fail. I thought we might all die. Then why did you fight? Smiled. Because being afraid does not mean you give up. It means you fight harder. That is what it means to be human. We feel fear and we fight anyway. We face impossible odds and we try anyway. We see the end coming and we refuse to accept it. That is what makes us strong. Not that we do not fear, but that we fight despite our fear. The young officer nodded, understanding. Looked out at the stars visible on the screens. So many stars, so many worlds, all of them free because humans had chosen to fight. Your fate is sealed, she whispered one last time. Not a threat, a promise. We will survive, we will endure, we will never surrender. And across the galaxy, on 1,000 different worlds, in 100 different languages, humanity's message continued to echo. A simple statement that had changed everything. 3 words that meant hope, defiance, and the indomitable will to survive. Your fate is sealed. The fate of humanity sealed in courage. The fate of the galaxy sealed in unity. The fate of freedom sealed in the hearts of those who refused to kneel. And that legacy would endure forever.